Hey over there, Joe Lunchbox.
And Joy Nightingale.
And today we have landed right here in Sandusky, Ohio. Now, I'm going to tell you all a little secret. Joy here, she loves carousels. It is one of her greatest things. Whenever we travel, we're always looking for carousels, merry-go-round, whatever you want to call them, to go to them. So,
especially grand ones. Oh,
she likes those old, hand-carved wooden ones. Yeah. I mean, what else is there? I mean, there's a lot. Some of the fiberglass ones are cool.
I do appreciate.
So when we heard here in Sandusky, there is a merry-go-round museum. We've already been to Connecticut, the Carousel Museum. We'll put a link to that down below.
That was fun.
But we had to come. We had to bring you along to go see the merry-go-round museum. And that's what we're about to do. So hopefully you like this kind of thing. If you do, you should like this video. We have over 500 videos. We go all around the country on fun adventures. So if you haven't already subscribed, we'd greatly appreciate if you would. Ring the notification bell because, like I said, we're always on adventures, so you'll know when they are. And comment down below. What is your favorite carousel you ever ridden?
And if it's not just horses, what is your favorite animal on it?
Ooh, good point, good point. I love the one in Ocean City, Maryland. It's full of all different kind of animals. I once rode a frog there. All right, but I think it's time to do it. Step right up, let's go for this ride. Look at that awesome building. As we stand here, we could hear the calliope music playing. It looks like, well, it doesn't look like, we can clearly see now from the building, this at one point was a United States Post Office.
Wait, people still use mail? Obviously, not really.
Oh, I think they do. But if they don't do mail, could we just turn all post offices into merry-go-round museum?
Heck yeah. Perfect idea.
Joy likes that idea. All right. Already walking in the door. This is pretty amazing.
I'm doing a present list. I want this one, I want that one, I want the rabbit, I want that. Ooh, that's pretty cool.
What, this one, the hippocampus? They have some good hippocampuses. I like, number one here is a donkey with a bobblehead.
Oh.
As you see, past this doorway is a vintage carousel. It is functional. With our admission, we get to get a wooden nickel that gets us on said carousel. And after we ride it, if we want for another $1, we can ride it again and get more nickels. And with those hippocampuses, I like this blue one. In case you don't know what a hippocampus is, it's sort of like a horse with like a sea serpent type tail. But this number 3, Joy, I think you get to bring it home with you.
Why?
Because if we see number 3, it says it's Joy. So that means it's yours, right?
We'll wipe up on the person's first name and just consider it mine.
Okay, and talking about Joy, in case you don't know, all these merry-go-round animals, it's joy for every generation. What I love is how old some of these are. Like, look at this donkey. It looks, the paint's beautiful, it looks new. That's from circa 1900. The beautiful grand, oh no, my arch nemesis. You guys aren't gonna bite my finger, are you? I once almost had my finger bit off by a zebra, so they are my arch nemesis.
Number 8, which is the pretty looking camel with the moose and stuff like that. That's a PTC.
Ooh, and when Joy says PTC, that's the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. Started as a furniture manufacturer, then they started making carousels. They still actually make roller coaster cars to this day.
Oh, the lion is done by the Muller who did the Forest Park, the carousel that's there now.
We just went and rode the Forest Park carousel, so that was done by the same carver. I always love, the animals are cool, but all the little extra details, like look at this tiger, and you see the person in its saddle, and same with this camel, has this eagle carved. I've never seen on any carousel this color block pattern of rectangles and squares. I really enjoy that. Camel, you're my friend. I like your saddle. But Joy, when you go to a merry-go-round, I know what every girl wants to ride.
What?
A a chicken, right? You like
Oh,
chicken?
I want to ride that.
Oh, you want to ride that? This is pretty epic. You can see the opening in the lattice that people could get in and out. I don't know if you had to sit Indian style down or is there an actual seat in there, but that elephant is pretty awesome.
Charles Louvre, who was another of like the carvers, but there's a picture underneath with the greyhound.
Yeah, so that's the greyhound in the picture. And let me get the front because we only saw his back. And here you see he actually is a nice greyhound. Oh my God, a stained glass carousel. This is nearly perfect. Look at the whole thing moving. All the animals, numerous rows of stained glass animals. You might be saying, Joe, what makes it not perfect? Why is it going backwards? Going around the bottom, we start learning how carousel started from horsemanship. During the reign of Louis XIV, France, an annual tournament was held to showcase the equestrian talents of members of the king's court. The event featured chariot races plus displays of exceptional horsemanship. One favorite game involved using a lance to pierce a small dangling ring while riding at full gallop. And this led into some of the early ideas of carousels.
Right above us, this is supposedly what the front window of the Daniel Muller carving shop would have looked like.
That's cool. Another cool thing, not carousel related, like we saw from the outside, we are in an old post office. I like how they didn't renovate this building to not be a post office. Because here we still see some of the old post office windows, the registry, you get your stamps there. This spot is pretty awesome. And if you want to come, it's easy to get here. Just follow the White Rabbit. Or just go to Sandusky, Ohio. It's right near the water. Joy, you want to tell us about this exhibit?
Between 1895 and 1925, hundreds of extraordinary carvings found their way onto carousels. Many of these figures had minute detail that could only be seen by close examination. Tiny nail heads carved into the horseshoes, stitching holes carved into the saddle, wrinkle lines in the eyes of an angel on a cantle, all were completely unnecessary to the ultimate goal of selling a ticket on a ride. Some of this work would even be hidden with the first coat of paint. Well, that's crazy. While other detail would disappear over the years, either from a whole bunch of coats of paint or general wear from thousands of riders. Even with the wear and old paint on these carousel masterpieces, the spirit and personality of the carver shine through.
So take your time, imagine the carver's chisel, releasing the animal from blocks of wood. Remember the times of riding on one of these wonderful creatures and enjoy these magnificent carvings from an era of master craftsmanship that was the golden age of carousel. But what's more interesting than that is, as we can see the old mechanism, you might be like, wow, this looks like a really old carousel. And you were sort of right, but the cool thing is, this shop actually has carvers here that carves some of these horses. In fact, these two hippocampuses that have more cartoonish dog faces were actually carved by one of the carvers that volunteers at this museum. And the actual structure of this was built in 1939 by the Allen Herschel Company, which is from North Tonawanda, New York. And the horses would be some historic horses, but a lot of them are by new carvers. Ooh, look at this armor with the dragon. He looks like he'd be a leader. It's a plane?
Unexpected landing on a PTC carousel.
That is interesting. On this wall of photos, as we zoom in, we see a plane accidentally landed on top of a Philadelphia Toboggan Company's carousel. It's pretty amazing. We see an old merry-go-round figure, this hippocampus, and you see a lot of the paint wore off, but there's still stones that are so shiny. I like seeing the raw wood under the paint. Like Joy was saying, she loves carousels. I dream of one day learning how to carve. I've been trying simple stuff like chains and little trinkets, but I hope to one day be able to carve a carousel like this for Joy. I think it would be a cool thing for her to have. Would you like it? Sure. You get the carousel and
the carving bigger.
yeah, sure, I could do that.
Get on that.
Okay. Some beautiful full figures, and we actually have, this is a false fact, folks, the horse head from The Godfather. Well, that's the stunt horse head, right? For all the stunts.
False fact, total stunt head.
All right, I don't usually film in bathrooms, but if I'm filming in a bathroom, there has to be a funny reason, and there really is. No smoking. The horses are allergic.
That's the outside part.
Ah, that is the outside part. You can see a lot of times when they were carved, the thing that would face out would have all the fancy carvings. And you see that with the little child and more detail in the saddle, the filigree. And then we come around the other side of the lion and we see how much more simple this side of the saddle is. Classic Wurlitzer organ playing inside. It's amazing seeing all the little pipes and things to make all the sound. You'd be like, oh, look at all the notes from the different lengths, but then you notice these ones actually curved to make it longer. Oh dear. Gonna go on the ride.
All right, all the animals on this machine, you go up and down.
I'm letting Joy choose whatever animal she wants, and I'm riding on the next one. Is she gonna make me ride a pig or the dog? I'm gonna ride on this cute dog while Joy rides on that horse. The carver I was showing you that carved the two hippocampuses, he also carved this one.
Gwen is one of my feisty horses. Should her tail come off while you're riding, it is nothing new.
Be good to me, Gwen. Be good to me.
Eddie, and Eddie was carved here at the museum by Ed.
Awesome.
That's great.
I love that we can see the whole operational machine. We'll show you when we get off the detail in the horseshoe on the horse that Joy's riding. You actually see the nails in the horseshoe carved. Joy, I'm trying to get it a thumbnail. Just hold still. Just right. No, stop moving, Joy. Stop moving. If you saw how fast we were spinning by, most carousels run 2 to 3 miles per hour, but they could run this original speed. So we were going a lot faster. You can see all the details in that. I love that it's a museum, so after we got off, we're allowed to walk around and share with you some of the other animals. The guy who made the dog I was riding also made this cool frog. Prince of Bel-Air? So this is the real Prince of Bel-Air? At the floorboards they have the names of all the animals. Like this is Brian. And a lot of carousels we go to, or merry-go-rounds, they have a Wurlitzer, but it's more like a focal point. It doesn't really work. We actually were able, this is real working still. I liked when you found Joy.
And this one is really awesome.
If I was ever to own a real horse, not just a carousel horse, this is the coloring I want.
Yeah, right.
I think Joy climbed on. I think she wants me to get a photo of her on this one. See the bird and the woman on the harp with the lion. She does have her name on her butt. Gwen with the little harp. I love part Uncle Sam meets part Santa Claus and a pirate. This guy is awesome. On the center panel, it reads Allen Herschel Company because they're the ones that originally built this, but we see restored for the Merry-Go-Round Museum 1993. And the next panel over is actually the Merry-Go-Round Museum. As we continue around, this planter clock is actually 1 block away from this museum here in Sandusky, Ohio. See the photo of the men in the workshop carving, and one of the carvers here is making Clarice from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This Native American inspired horse is stunning. I love the wolf fur on the back of the saddle, like you see the head and the quiver. All the beadwork that was carved into this and the feathers. One of the most stunning horses I've ever seen in my life. When you start to look, so many different styles and looks of horses. Joy's getting good at learning if they're jumping horses, if they're this company and this carver and that carver. I don't know how she's learning it, but she's getting good. I could say, from my knowledge, with all the jewels and gems, this probably would have been a lead horse on a carousel. It looking so fancy like this. And what I mean by that is most carousels have one horse that's the lead. It would be on the outside, and the purpose of the lead horse back in days, when someone would walk around, once all the kids are on the thing collecting tickets, the ticket collector would know where to start collecting from. It would be the horse that would be prominent and they'd be able to see.
The stander, the prancer, and the jumpers.
Yes. The stander would have just been standing, wouldn't have gone up and down.
The
Prancer doesn't have all legs in the air.
More just
Yeah.
like the two with the two stationary, and obviously
Jumpers.
is going to be where there's
Nothing on the ground. Here we can see a standing. Has one leg up, but he's still standing. I'm still standing. And if you want to know all these terms that Joy is learning, she's learning them, but she also could read them. The stander, stationary animal, a prancer, stationary animal, rare feet on the ground, jumper, all 4 legs off the platform, outside road, exterior. Ooh, a menagerie, any carousel animal other than a horse. I was just riding one of those.
So recently we were in Forest Park and we rode the carousel there. The carvings were done by Daniel Muller. We'll go ahead and put that link down below.
But talking about that carver, if we look up, we actually see a beautiful butterfly lady carved by that master carver. See the lights on the wings changing colors? Joy's correcting me.
From Cedar Point, Italy.
I should read better. This wasn't actually carved by Mueller. It's a reproduction. From Cedar Point Midway Carousel. My bad. We have a horse head. This wasn't taken off one of the horses. This was used to sell you the carousel. So Mueller was a carver, and this was used by a salesman as an example piece to take around and go, you need to buy it. Look what we could do. This might not be a carousel horse, but it sort of is. It might not have stood on a carousel. But this custom-made horse, which is a rocking horse, was still actually made by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. And if you're like, how could anyone start figuring out carvers and names like Joy's been trying to do? Well, if you look at these ones, you see these wild hairs. But let's take a look at this horse over here. You can see the more stern neck, and also look at the hair, almost like a mohawk style. And we go a few horses down, and we can see the same style hair and neck. I know what you're asking. You've seen all these horses. They look like regular horses in armor and outfits. You're like, but I want something crazy. I want something wild. Does anything like that exist? Oh boy, do we have you covered. Look at this hot pink gold hair, peekaboo style. You can tell it's peekaboo because the hair, you can see through it. Peekaboo. Restored 1917 C.W. Parker horse. This thing's color is insane. I'm going to say this is probably not the original color in 1917, but it is surely a fun restoration. And it's funny when I look at the hot pink horse. It's called a Lily Bell style. And you're like, what does it look like originally? You see the grapes and the coloring. Well, I'm going to show you another one. These were carved by C.W. Parker. But obviously some stuff's different, like hair and legs. But look at the horse now. Ready? We're going to go magic of editing. And now do you see it? You see the grapes. You see the same style. It's crazy to think of what that horse looks like now compared to what it used to look like. And the woman here working said, there's usually two schools of thought about that pink horse. The traditionals, the purists, hate it. Kids come in and new school thinking, they love it, it's fun, it's cool. And she was like, there wasn't a middle ground until some guy came in that was colorblind. He went, yeah, it looks okay. You're seeing this already. The white looks majestic with the stones. The man's face on the saddle, and then you pan up to the head and you see the tongue sticking out. Sometimes apprentices that were forced to carve horses, they would do this sort of like as a joke to get back at their teachers. I can't say that's why this was done, but it did happen sometimes. And some of the apprentices would do it just because like they didn't get credited for the carvings. It would have been the master carver that got credited. So it's sort of like a little, yeah, get credit for this, buddy. How do they make it, Joy?
I'm gonna make it look like.
Oh yeah? 3-piece shoe ad. So we're actually advertising the shoes, and this was hung in a department store in Los Angeles, but it actually focuses on 3 Denzel Company horses. If you like merry-go-rounds and carousels, this museum is pretty cool. And the fact it has a functioning one we got to ride, even better. One of my favorite things, souvenirs. I always dream, from mine and Joy's travel, I want to own a museum of souvenirs of all amusement parks and attractions and roadside spots.
So I'm guessing this is from one of their amusement parks, Euclid Beach Park.
Yes, we see
That unfortunately.
Euclid Beach Park, Cleveland, Ohio.
Unfortunately, doesn't exist, but
we see some cool merch from it.
the area
So all this merch is from that one
still
spot.
has the carousel.
It still does
there.
have a carousel. We have
It
to get
still
there.
has like a center of the.
But I don't know if you can still get these salt and pepper shakers or these Skulls salt and pepper shakers. There's still some out there. Catch the brass ring and get a free ride. Imagine reaching out from those outside horses, trying at fast speeds to catch a brass ring. We actually have one of those contraptions. It lowered all the rings in there. One of them would be brass. And as you go, you try to hook the ring, flying by. And if you came here with kids, there are some activities. Like a child could put their piece of paper.
A piece of paper down. Oh, you can even.
And say you want a green horse. And like magic, a green horse.
Can't forget. It's like a souvenir.
It is a souvenir. Merry-go-round museum. Or maybe the little kid wants to color the building that we're standing in today. Might look like a regular carousel horse, but when you take a closer look, you see the lights. They're not reflecting. There's light shining through them. Now, there wasn't many of these made because they realized that this might not be the best design. Picture wood horse. And to light those things, we're talking back in the day, there's no wires, there's no electric going in that. We're talking about a kerosene lantern or a candle in a box made out of wood. You could imagine how that could go terribly wrong. I mean, this one's still here, so this one didn't go terribly wrong, but I don't know how many were made, and I don't think it was functionality I think the idea is better than the functionality. We're standing looking at these horses. You see the paint has been stripped down to be refinished. And here would have been a piece on the center of the carousel. And this carver, you didn't want to make him angry, because if you did, he'd carve anatomically correct horses. I'm just picturing, imagine getting your carousel delivered, and you must have said something wrong, and all the horses are anatomically correct. You have to stand underneath them with saws and chisels, carving it, getting rid of that before kids come to ride it. A little souvenir. I like the guy who carved the dog that I wrote also carved the frog. So I'm gonna go for that frog. Watch as our penny now is gonna be lowered into the press. I see a frog. Crushing and elongating our penny. Oh, perfect. I like it was a nice worn penny. Get that good patina on it. An outside jumping, not a horse, jumping cow. This was circa 1888 and it last operated at the Eiffel Tower in France. Look at it, actually had a cushion, a little bow on the tail. That's pretty cool. Before us we have a Derby style horse. There's one of these in Rye Plain, Cedar Point, and Blackpool Pleasure Beach in England. Only 3 of these exist that you can ride. You have to put your feet on different pegs for the speed of the horse to go around. It is interesting when we think the carousels used to run at way faster speed than they run today. They weigh like 20 miles an hour. But this one, you didn't want to ride. This one was made for little kids to sit in to get their hair cut. And little girls would sit proper because that's what they got to ride the special horse. But if I was riding it, I would never sit proper. I want to go, giddy up, and grab the reins of the horse. I like that the tail is little old pieces of leather. And of course, they have an awesome gift shop as well. Ooh, merry-go-round museum. And I know, you're asking, well, what's the difference between a merry-go-round and a carousel? Honest truth, there isn't any. Some people might say one has horses, one has animals. One goes this way, one goes that way. They're the same. Just like soda and pop. They're the same. Accept it. Joy, I believe you have chose wisely. Joe's pick a favorite for the museum. This wolf has a little mouse holding on tight because the speed's going so fast. And below we have a little fox. It looks like definitely I'd be a little too heavy to ride that one now. It would have been good for little kids. There's also another wolf in the museum. This is an old vintage one from Germany. Definitely has a different feel than the newer one we were looking at a moment ago.
Gotta get your coins going.
Before we head out, we're going to play this stained glass carousel called Miriam's Carousel because it was made by Miriam.
It's like
We actually have them going up and down, from ostriches to tigers, giraffes and frogs, of course horses. Ooh, I see a hippocampus. So there you have it, the Merry-Go-Round Museum here in Sandusky, Ohio. That was everything I hoped for. How about you, Joe? You're the more carousel merry-go-round enthusiast than I am.
it was so much more. I was definitely pleased with it.
Woman working there had so much knowledge, which I always appreciate. Took a lot of time talking to us, telling us about stuff.
And found out with one of the carvings, because the sign wasn't there, that she had to find out and got the answer back to us of what it was. She said it was aloof.
It was so nice that they actually printed Joy. She printed Joy a list of all the carousels as of 2014 that still have rings that you could grab on them, because we're trying to get to all those. This was amazing, amazing. We rode a carousel too, which is a good day. Any day in life you ride a carousel is a good day.
That's a good day? That's a great day.
You should make that a t-shirt. Don't steal our idea. Or do it, pretend there's a few.
Yeah.
All right. I think we could call it though.
Okay.
I know. Joy doesn't want it. She wants to go ride again. And if you did, only $1 extra, you could go ride again.
Yep.
After you pay that admission.
Well,
which
we
is
got the dollar
a
to
great
get the
deal.
coin.
This is amazing. And I have to say, like, a lot of people come to Sandusky, go to Cedar Point. Amazing amusement park. But if you come to spend the day in Cedar Point,
Come here.
take a few hours to come here.
Like,
You
come
literally
here.
are like 10 minutes away from this amazing museum, amusement park history, carousel history,
Not even
merry-go-rounds.
that. Like, the admission gets you a ride on a carousel. Hello, that is great.
Yeah, this amazing. I think we have to qualify, Joy.
Okay, I guess so.
Merry-go-round museum. Been there, done that. Remember, folks, safe travels
Good eats.
and live life. She's going back in. I'm heading to the car. I'll pick her up at the end of this road trip. It's okay. She'll have fun. Oh, you're actually finally coming?
Oh, yeah, I did a ride.
Okay. Very cool.